fired single dad fed a hungry elderly woman, unaware she was the CEO who could clear his name. The day Ethan Walker lost his job, he also lost his reputation. Accused of stealing confidential company files, the hard-working single father was marched out of the office while co-workers looked away in silence. His name spread through the industry like a warning, and every interview afterward ended the same way. No one wanted to hire a man whose honesty had been questioned. With rent overdue, bills piling up, and his young daughter depending on him, Ethan wondered how a single lie had destroyed everything he had spent years building. Before we continue, if you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes. Every act of support helps us spread stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Every morning Ethan woke before sunrise, packed his daughter Lily's school lunch with whatever food remained in the kitchen, and smiled as though nothing was wrong. She never knew her father skipped breakfast so she could eat. After dropping her at school, he spent hours walking from business to business, asking for work that never came. Employers smiled politely until they searched his name online. Then their expressions changed. Doors closed before he could explain the truth. Weeks became months, and hope slowly slipped through his fingers. One cold afternoon, after another unsuccessful interview, Ethan counted the few dollars left in his wallet. It was just enough to buy one simple meal. He entered a quiet neighborhood cafe, ordered a bowl of soup and some bread, and sat near the window. Before taking his first bite, he noticed an elderly woman sitting alone across the room. Her silver hair was untidy, her coat looked worn from years of use, and her trembling hands rested on an empty table. She kept looking toward the menu with tired eyes but never called a waiter. It was obvious she hadn't ordered anything because she couldn't afford it. Ethan looked down at his own meal. His stomach had been empty since the previous evening, but something inside him refused to ignore the woman. Without hesitation, he carried his food to her table and quietly placed it in front of her. Then he ordered a glass of water for himself and pretended he had already eaten elsewhere. The elderly woman looked at him with tears gathering in her eyes. She accepted the meal with quiet gratitude while Ethan smiled gently, expecting nothing in return. He simply believed no one deserved to go hungry. As she slowly finished the soup, the restaurant staff watched from a distance. One waitress seemed unusually emotional, while another customer discreetly observed Ethan's kindness. Ethan left shortly afterward, unaware that his small sacrifice had been noticed by far more people than he realized. Life remained difficult. Bills continued arriving, collection notices appeared in his mailbox, and his landlord warned him that eviction was approaching. Still, Ethan refused to become bitter. He volunteered at the local community kitchen whenever he had time because helping others reminded him he still had value, even if the world believed otherwise. Lily often asked why good people sometimes suffered. Ethan never had a perfect answer, but he always told her that kindness was never wasted, even when nobody seemed to notice. 3 days later, Ethan received an unexpected phone call inviting him to corporate headquarters of the company that had fired him. Confused and anxious, he almost ignored it, assuming it was another cruel mistake. But curiosity overcame fear, and he arrived wearing the only suit he still owned. Inside the impressive executive boardroom, Ethan froze. Sitting at the head of the long table was the same elderly woman from the cafe. Only now she wore an elegant business suit, surrounded by directors, attorneys, and senior executives. The gentle smile she offered immediately eased his confusion, but what she revealed next changed his life forever. The woman introduced herself as Eleanor Brooks, the company's founder and current CEO. After years away from daily operations, she had secretly begun visiting company branches and local businesses without revealing her identity. She wanted to understand how ordinary people treated strangers when no reward was expected. The afternoon Ethan shared his only meal with her had become the final piece of evidence she needed. Eleanor explained that she had quietly reopened the investigation surrounding Ethan's dismissal after noticing inconsistencies in the original reports. Independent forensic experts discovered that another executive had manipulated security records and planted false digital evidence to hide a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. Ethan had never stolen anything. He had simply become the easiest person to blame because he refused to approve suspicious financial transactions months earlier. The guilty executive was arrested, while the board publicly cleared Ethan's name. News outlets that had once reported his disgrace now covered his complete innocence. But Eleanor wasn't finished. She believed character mattered more than resumes, and she had already witnessed Ethan's true character with her own eyes in that small cafe. She offered Ethan a senior leadership position overseeing employee ethics and community outreach programs. The salary was generous, but what moved Ethan most was hearing someone finally say they trusted him completely. After months of carrying invisible shame, those words felt heavier than any paycheck. The following weeks transformed not only Ethan's career but also countless lives around him. Under his leadership, the company created emergency assistance funds for struggling employees, expanded food donation programs, and launched scholarships for children of single parents. Ethan insisted every successful business should remember the people quietly fighting battles no one else could see. His own experience had taught him that compassion should never depend on someone's job title or bank account. Lily watched her father smile again for the first time in months. Their small apartment slowly filled with laughter instead of worry. They no longer feared eviction, and bedtime stories were once again about dreams instead of problems. Yet Ethan never forgot the afternoon he gave away his only meal. He often returned to the same cafe, anonymously paying for meals of strangers who seemed to need them most, believing someone else's miracle might begin with one simple act of kindness. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends and family, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that inspire hope, compassion, and second chances around the world. Ethan never expected that giving away his only meal would restore everything he had lost. He simply chose kindness when life had given him every reason to become selfish. In the end, it wasn't wealth, influence, or power that cleared his name. It was the quiet decision to feed a hungry stranger without expecting anything in return. Sometimes the greatest opportunities arrive disguised as ordinary moments, and sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the miracle that changes an entire life forever.